Knowledge is power. Combine that with 100,000 watts of power, and you've got the most important talk station in Oklahoma. We're the new Freedom 96.9 and Freedom969.com. Freedom
Weather.
Here's your Oklahoma City AccuWeather forecast. This afternoon, mostly cloudy with heavy thunderstorms, humid, high of 81. Repeated storms bring flooding risk tonight. Clouds clear with showers and a thunderstorm, low of 68. Watch for flash flooding. Tomorrow, cloudy with some sun, showers and a thunderstorm, high of 83. Monday, mix of clouds and sun showers and a thunderstorm early, high of 83. With your Oklahoma City AccuWeather forecast, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
We interrupt our program with a special bulletin.
The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast are solely those of the speakers and other contributors. These views and opinions do not necessarily represent those of this station.
Broadcasting live from the command center of Freedom 96.9 in Oklahoma City, it's McRoof Fortifies Oklahoma. Saving lives, protecting property, fortifying Oklahoma one roof at a time. I'm Rick Allen Lippert here with Hague Certified Master Level Damage Inspector, Oklahoma Licensed Public Adjuster, Fortified Evaluator, and IBHS Fortified Roofing Contractor, Scott McCullum.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Also here is Hague Certified Roofing Inspector, Scotty McCullum.
Hello, Rick.
I'm Rick Allen Lippert, and I've already said that.
Oh, my gosh.
It's Saturday.
Get this
morning.
guy
Hey,
some coffee.
Randy, get the intern in here.
And Retro Radio Randy is running the show today, and he's back on probation, so we're not going to let him talk on the air unless he screams from the background.
No.
But you can talk to him when you call 405-608-4377. We're live streaming today on the McRoof Fortifies Oklahoma YouTube channel. The guys are waving to you. You can also hear us on Freedom969.com. You know, probably ought to get up before 7:45. We'll start as usual with our trivia question and other interesting tidbits, including the word of the week. The phone number is to answer the trivia question or just ask a question is 405-608-4377. Later we'll hear Scotty's view from the rooftop, and we'll have some after the storm tips brought to you by Roof RX, and we'll wrap up with Dad's wisdom. Coming back from breaks, of course, we'll have some genuinely obscure historical trivia. Now, guys, I don't usually read the propaganda emails I routinely get from our congressional people, but in an email yesterday from one of our senators, the lead sentence said S&CM LLC doing business as McRoof.us legally operates under Oklahoma registration number 800000002, and that the registration applies to both residential and commercial roofing.
Wow.
Some may take that as a highly political statement.
I didn't know we had such notoriety. I really didn't.
What is going on with those folks?
Oh, man.
All right, so what's going on? What's going on with me this morning? I thought I was awake. So let's do our trivia.
Did you have your Prevagen this morning?
Forgot to take it.
The word you said?
Yeah, the word of the week. That's what I said.
Comprehensive.
Comprehensive.
And I'll let you read that, Dad.
I don't have a definition here.
Oh, I'm
I don't
sorry.
know what it is.
I'm sorry. Some synonyms are complete. Definition, in a way, is including all or nearly all aspects or elements of something. I think I could come up with a good example sentence that pertains to McRoof's day-to-day operations, and that might be, McRoof's inspection report was very comprehensive, leaving no room for question about the nature or extent of damage on my roof.
Wow. Interesting.
Indeed.
Comprehensive.
Comprehensive.
You know, I had Rick, didn't we used to have to take comprehensive tests?
We did. We had to take comprehensive tests. They would test your comprehension.
Yeah. I don't know. Okay. Wow. Wondering
Something
about,
to ponder about.
Wondering about that word, Scotty. Did you come up with that?
I didn't come up with the word,
Oh,
but
okay. But you came up with it for tying it
did
into what
decide
we do.
on
Okay.
it
You
for this
chose.
week's segment.
All right. Well,
Yes.
you know, we usually make the word tie in with what our trivia question is. So we want to do the trivia, Rick?
By all means.
All right. So our trivia question today: in the course of assessing a property for potential storm impact, a professional inspector or adjuster is diligent to inspect a roof covering material for other non-storm related conditions. How many of these conditions does your standard issue McRoof Solution Specialist look for on your property? Is it 10? Is it 15? Is it 18? Or is it 22?
And to remind you about something specific to the verbiage of this question, we are asking for, in addition to the storm-related impact damage notes or checkpoints, if you will, in addition to those few checkpoints, how many other checkpoints are there included in your standard McRoof inspection report?
So this is, getting away from that comprehensive or getting back to it either way. So the typical roofing guy, sales guy, the guy that bangs on your door, he's going to lean his ladder up against your gutter and scrape your gutters up, and maybe he's going to go a few feet up a valley, but probably not. And in about 30 seconds to a minute, he's going to come down and tell you, oh my God, you got to file a claim. That roof is absolutely destroyed. That is not a comprehensive roofing inspection. All right. So as Scotty said, lots of people are looking at the storm damage. McRoof is going to be looking at significantly more than just the storm damage.
And even, as I said in the question, a professional adjuster or inspector of another kind.
A professional roof inspector,
should
absolutely.
be looking at other conditions besides just what they're trying to identify.
Now, an adjuster's there specifically to assess storm damage. So the adjuster isn't necessarily going to get into all the other things that Scotty is talking about, because that's his sole purpose for being there, is to determine, in fact, is there storm-related damage, and then he'll go into the extent of that and get deeper into his investigation. If he cannot determine initially that there's any storm-related damage, he's not going to go to the nth degree in a comprehensive evaluation like a professional roof inspector, someone with credentials, or like McRoof Solution Specialist would do.
So there's a number of items that
Yep.
are on this list of other conditions that the McRoof Solution Specialist looks for that is non-storm related damage. How many items are on that list? Is it 10, 15, 18, or 22? If you think you know the answer, give us a call, 405-608-4377. 405-608-4377.
I don't know the answer.
The winner of this, if you think you know the answer and you're the
Well,
first
I
one
do.
to call, the winner gets either a Lowe's $25 gift certificate or 2 free tickets to see She Kills Monsters at Carpenter Square Theater. It opened
Started
last
night. Yep.
Opened last night.
Yep.
I got to tell you, it was a lot more delightful than I
Okay, good.
expected it to be.
Good.
Nice.
Good.
It deals a lot with Dungeons and Dragons, but I wouldn't take the kids.
Yeah.
There's some adult stuff in there.
So I want to say this. Somebody might say, well, Scott just said he doesn't even know what the answer to this trivia question is. Let me tell you why that is, folks. Because Scotty and his solutions team are so detailed and so professional that they are constantly learning. They're constantly editing their reports and what it is that they do. So it may have been 12 last year, or it might have moved someplace else. I know it's moving, but I don't know what that number is. I'll be interested to see what the answer is, son.
Okay. So 10, 15, 18, or 22, how many non-storm related conditions does a McRoof Solution Specialist look for on your property? 405-608-4377. Hey, in the couple of minutes we have before we have to go to break, what'd you do this past week?
Did some repairs. Tried to help Sean because we're short on field personnel, so I'm doing as much as I can to help him out in the field to assure that customers get taken care of in a timely fashion and repair backlog doesn't continue to grow as it has with all the rains this spring.
Right.
So that's one thing, and we've met a couple insurance adjusters, got a couple new prospects signed up, new clients now signed up for their new roof.
Oh, good.
With Johnny and Kelvin's folks, and I'm working on a lot of insurance supplements that have to be dealt with on the front end because these discrepancies are just so heinous, too heinous to sign a contract with somebody before we get a little bit more assuredness that the insurance is going to do what they need to do.
Could you be a little more specific about that without naming the insurance companies? I mean, they're just not seeing all the damage?
Oh, well, it comes back to the word comprehensive, I think, Rick, because
Okay.
when we send a supplemental package to an insurance carrier, our package, which includes an estimate for the damages, photos, which usually are more photos than can be accommodated in one email, so it's several emails worth of photo documents in addition to that. Sometimes other documentation like subcontractor invoices for different component items that are
Estimates.
required as part of the work to be performed.
Code references.
Code references, the list goes on.
Okay.
And sometimes there's 5 or 6 different categories of items of documentation, I should say, that we have to send to an adjuster to substantiate the differences from our estimate to theirs.
It's a
And-
comprehensive package.
That's right. That's right. And some individuals, contractors and adjusters alike, don't do so well when you send them such a comprehensive package of information. And sometimes that gets overwhelming to them. And even though it's all there in front of them in the same place in the customer's claim file, it can be essentially, it can be paralyzing the degree of detail we go into. And I think that's exactly what I'm dealing with on several cases that fall into that category.
Okay. And with that, we'll take our first break. Our trivia question, how many non-storm related conditions does a McRoof Solution Specialist look for on your property when they do their comprehensive inspection? 10, 15, 18, or 22? Give us a call, 405-608-4377. When we come back, obscure historical trivia.
This is Chris Guanera, CEO of Blue Falcon Aerial. We're proud to partner with McRoof.us to enhance the Roof RX program. McRoof.us already has a trusted, proven system, and we're here to add an extra layer of precision with crystal clear drone imagery using the state-of-the-art Mavic 3 series. With our background in the surveying industry and as drone instructors at Francis Tuttle, we know accuracy. Our documentation supports McRoof's certified professionals so they can make the best recommendations for your roof, saving lives and protecting property, one roof at a time. Roof RX, where technology meets technical competence.
They deal with the insurance company for you, which is so nice and helpful.
One of the most important things that I prioritize is setting the right expectation, what they can expect from their insurance carrier, what ducks need to be lined up to make sure their project reaches the outcome that they desire.
I'm on the phone most of the day, talking with insurance companies, trying to resolve a claim that has not been paid correctly. We don't give up.
They were able to come out and give a full, in-depth inspection. That process ultimately led to a doubling of the claim.
He probably got me, at least on this roof, $50,000 more by my calculation than I would have gotten with the other roofers.
It goes far beyond what a normal roofing company would do. We're going to do it right.
McRoof Fortifies Oklahoma back on the air. Hey, on this date in 1804, former U.S. Secretary of the Treasury Alexander Hamilton died after being shot the day before in his duel with Vice President Aaron Burr. If you saw the play or even the movie of the play Hamilton, you saw that reenacted. And on this date in 1812, the U.S. invaded Canada. I don't know why, other than we were at war with England again, but we invaded Canada on this date in 1812. Nick is on the line. Hello, Nick. I understand you want to take a shot at our trivia question. Hello.
Hello, Nick.
I'm here.
There he is.
Okay,
how you doing today,
we've got
Nick?
you.
Just got up.
Well, this is a great way to start your morning, isn't it?
All right, Nick. So for the people who just happened to tune in, a McRoof Solution Specialist, when they do a comprehensive roof inspection, or any professional inspector or adjuster does a complete inspection, there are non-storm related conditions. So how many of these conditions does the McRoof Solution Specialist look for? 10, 15, 18, or 22?
I'm going to say 18.
Ooh. Nick, you were so close, but no cigar today.
Man.
So close.
Nick,
we appreciate you trying.
Go back to sleep, Nick. Nick, thanks for calling, buddy.
I'll say a little on the high side there. Okay, so there's that grant program for strengthening Oklahoma for reimbursing homeowners for
fortified roof.
For fortified roofs.
That's correct.
When they re-roof, putting on a fortified.
And I am leaving here right after the radio to go to a fortified appointment in Edmond.
So what's the status of the grant program?
Getting ready to roll out the third segment. Having their stakeholders meeting next week, and then we'll be rolling out the third. I don't know what those zip codes will be, but getting ready to roll out the third part of the 4-part rollout for this year. So we're getting there.
Do you know if the all the money allocated to the previous zip codes has been
I do
exhausted?
I do not know the answer to that. I know that in the second rollout, those zip codes, that as recently as last week, we had new activity.
Oh.
And in the Tulsa zip codes, Sapulpa and Sand Springs, those zip codes, we've had activity as recently as the last couple of weeks. So I suspect that there's still some availability in there as well. So
all right.
Don't know the answer to that. We are we've completed our first few fortified roofs, and really the first one is so hard, and the second one, relatively speaking, is so easy. And I'm thinking that now we're getting ready to go, though. We're getting ready to go. Obviously, we started with smaller roofs.
Right.
All right, because we wanted to make sure that everybody is now
on their P's and Q's.
Once it quits raining, we're going to be stepping into some very large, steep, redeck, fortified roofs. And this is, they're going to be tough. I mean, some of these roofs are going to take certainly into that
couple weeks,
into that second week easily.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
But
we're excited about it. The appointment I'm going on later today is in excess of 100 square fortified roofs. So,
wow.
Yep. And then Scotty had an appointment earlier this week. A fellow who I had met earlier in East Edmond, who has a really messed up insurance claim.
Oh yeah, you can say that again.
And in the context of his fortified roof, so we're very, very hopeful that we will win out at the end of the day in being able to serve he and his family. So,
well, good dang deal.
We just hope that adjuster doesn't keel over when he sees our comprehensive inspection report.
Well, this is one I alluded to it last week a little bit about some of the things that really get you in these claims. You know, there is a depreciation factor. Even if you have replacement cost coverage, there's a depreciation factor that is used to determine the actual cash value, the amount that the insurance company gives you up front. In this man's case, he has an actual cash value policy. So it's determining the amount that he's actually going to get. Mm-hmm. And when the insurance company assigns the wrong age or the wrong classification to the quality of the roof covering on a roof, they have significantly diminished the payment to him for his roof. And Scotty and I are in the process of getting that straightened out. So,
speaking of Scotty, it's time for him to get up on the roof. Hang on, Scotty. Oh, no. Today's Scotty's view from the rooftop is titled, "I'm sorry, miss, we can't do that here."
Uh-oh.
That's right.
Uh-oh.
Well, this is actually a what do they call it?
Am I going to hear the D word?
A sequel?
Am I going to hear the D word?
I think so. I'm not sure if it's the D word you're thinking of, but I'm pretty sure it's a D word. And that's deductible.
Yeah, that's the D word.
So a week or two ago, you were telling us about a woman who was expecting you to just write off her deductible.
Well, yes and no. It's really not her fault. It is because she had been misled several times with her last 2, potentially 3 roof projects by her contractor to believe or to think in some roundabout way that what they did to help her mitigate her out-of-pocket cost was legal. And she was a client of Johnny's and Kelvin's. It was a larger roof, and Kelvin did the initial assessment. He had a schedule conflict. That's why Johnny met the insurance adjuster, and everything went smoothly. They both thought it was really on the fence in terms of the scope, or I should say the concentration of damage, maybe potentially not meeting insurance thresholds, but being in a position where she was at an enhanced financial risk
if she didn't do a claim now.
With her roof aging out. She certainly had hail damage. Anyways, when the adjuster assessed the roof, he did a comprehensive job.
Good.
He did acknowledge that there was significant enough storm damage to warrant a full replacement, which benefited her significantly. But that's where the rubber meets the road, is this deductible topic, and we're just not going to mince words about what is legal, what is not legal to do, and we can't help someone who doesn't intend to pay their deductible. The deductible is a fixed condition that your policy, your contract with the insurance company for coverage rides upon. That is a fixed condition. The deductible can never go away. It doesn't disappear. No one can make it vanish. And anyone who tells you otherwise is simply not telling you the truth.
And I want to jump in here, Rick, because I spent my day yesterday at a presentation that Certainty had brought a fellow in to speak with a group of roofing contractors. And his name is Chad Michael. He goes by the Practitioner. He is a aficionado in all things insurance restoration claims related. And one of the things that I really liked was the way that he explained deductibles. And I haven't talked to Scotty about this. He explains deductibles in the context of a medical copay. So he says to his client, because we get this all the time, "Oh, I've already paid my deductible. They deducted it from my claim." No, you haven't paid it until you've written a check to the contractor for it. So Chad explains it. He says, you go into the doctor's office, you've got a $50 copay. We'll get back to it.
Yep. We'll circle back.
Okay. You're listening to McRoof Fortifies Oklahoma on Freedom 96.9 FM, live on Saturday morning. Live, people, Saturday morning. Give us a call.
We're live.
405-608-4377. We're going to break for news. We'll be back on the second half with more obscure historical trivia and roofing.
Whether the conflict is in the Middle East or Middle Oklahoma, we have the stories that impact your freedom. We're the new Freedom 96.9 and Freedom969.com, Oklahoma's talk radio. Freedom
Weather. Here's your Oklahoma City AccuWeather forecast this afternoon. Mostly cloudy with heavy thunderstorms, humid, high of 81. Repeated storms bring flooding risk tonight. Clouds clear with showers and a thunderstorm, low of 68. Watch for flash flooding. Tomorrow, cloudy with some sun, showers and a thunderstorm, high of 83. Monday, mix of clouds and sun showers and a thunderstorm early, high of 83. With your Oklahoma City AccuWeather forecast, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
We interrupt our program with a special bulletin.
The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast are solely those of the speakers and other contributors. These views and opinions do not necessarily represent those of this station.
McRoof Fortifies Oklahoma back on the air for the second half of today's live program on Freedom 96.9. Hey, on this date in 1861, days of the Old West, the legend of Wild Bill Hickok was born as he reputedly shot and killed a man in Rock Creek, Nebraska territory. He was later acquitted. They said he acted in self-defense. Wild Bill Hickok.
Wild Bill.
They didn't have surveillance cameras back then.
Yeah. 1 year later, 1862, early in the days of the Civil War, or as they say in South Carolina, the War of Northern Aggression, the U.S. Congress authorized the Medal of Honor on this date, 1862. Okay, so, gentlemen, let me get the trivia question back out there before we get back into your deductible discussion. Yep. Our trivia question still out there. How many non-storm related conditions does your McRoof Solution Specialist look for on your property? These is beyond the storm conditions. Is it 10? Is it 15? We know it's not 18. Or is it 22? 10, 15, or 22? Give us a call, 405-608-4377.
So jump back to the deductible discussion relative to copays. So you go into the doctor's office, you've got a $50 copay, you write a check or give them a credit card for your $50.
That's
you
right.
have now paid your copay.
Yeah.
All right? It's exactly the same thing with your insurance claim, your homeowner's claim. You have a deductible. You write the check to your contractor. Your contractor is, in effect, the doctor, and he is collecting your copay.
That's a
and
great
that is a very
analogy.
simple way to get people to understand, because we've heard for years people will say, oh, I already paid my deductible. They took it straight out of my check. No, you didn't pay your deductible. They deducted it from your replacement cost, from your actual cash value payment. You haven't paid your deductible until you write your check to the doctor. Then you've paid your deductible. Okay, that's how it works. And then the other thing I want to say, and Chad was great to everyone in the room, made this very, very clear. All these people that are told you need to get 3 bids, or people that think that you're trying to find a bid that is less than that value of your claim after your deductible has already been taken out of it. He made it very, very simple. You had a $20,000 claim with a $1,000 deductible, and your replacement cost value is $19,000. So you're thinking that you need to have a bid for $19,000 or less. That's what you're trying to get. Okay, so you get the bid for $18,000. All right, when you or your contractor have legally, properly sent the affidavit of completion or the final invoice to the insurance company that shows that you paid $18,000, guess what? They're no longer going to pay you $19,000. They're going to pay you $18,000 minus your $1,000 deductible, or $17,000. The only winners by you getting a lower bid is the insurance company.
Right.
And I guarantee you the consumer is a loser, because the contractor who is doing that is going to cut corners and shortchange what you were supposed to get to make up the difference, and you're not going to know where he cut those corners.
They're not taking out of their profit.
Yeah.
They're not reducing their profit to give you a better price. They're reducing the quality and the execution of what they do for you. Be smart, consumers. You don't get anything for free. You know that.
And I was going to read an excerpt from House Bill 1940, just because we haven't really done that.
Go right ahead.
And,
Yeah,
And as
by
long
all
as that
means.
doesn't break any rules, I
A
think
short
that's
excerpt.
Sure. A residential or roofing commercial contractor providing repairs or improvement services paid by an insured from the proceeds of a property or casualty claim policy shall not, as an inducement to the sale or provision of goods, services to the insured, advertise or promise to pay directly or indirectly all or any portion of the applicable insurance deductible.
All or any portion. For years when I came to Oklahoma, Rick, have people say, oh, well, so-and-so gave me a certificate, a voucher for putting a sign in my front yard.
Right.
And I said,
A yard sign credit.
And I said, and let me guess, the voucher is for exactly the amount of your insurance deductible. How did you know that?
Yep.
Illegal. And that's not a sick bird.
Along those lines, but on a different tack, I still see TV commercials for roofing contractors that do not have their CIB number.
Oh, and Avery, the executive director of Orca, and I have been talking. I want to do a class for the members and non-members about really what the statute is and all the provisions in that statute that nobody complies with.
Yeah.
There is a provision. I didn't bring my book. I have the book. It's all marked up. There is a provision in the book that says that essentially any form of media electronic vehicles, signage, business cards, everything that a CIB registered roofing contractor does that could be construed as advertising or a promotion of their business must have their registration number on it.
Yeah.
Okay? I have had this conversation with the outdoor signage people. I have had this conversation with the TV and radio networks. I have had this conversation with everyone in media. They couldn't care less because they want their money.
Exactly.
And
they don't want to be the police.
They don't want to be the police. That's exactly right. So as I've said to Avery, we need to make sure that our members understand this stuff. We certainly need to make sure that all of our leadership, our board of directors, the people that have the visibility, that they're all totally compliant in every aspect of this. When you see all these advertisements and things on TV and you see one without a construction industry's board number, ask yourself, well, that's a little thing, but that's a technical legal aspect of them doing and complying with the law in the state of Oklahoma that they choose to ignore. Is that really?
Or they're completely ignorant about it. One of the two.
Well, either of the two is that who you want to do business with.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
Anyway.
Hey, it is time for us to hide from the storms. Now, you guys were talking before the show about hearing thunder this morning.
I didn't just hear it. I saw the lightning, and I got a mini monsoon.
Man,
came down on me.
I tell you,
So after the storm tip,
well, when is that ever going to be?
Well,
I mean, we're kind of, at least we don't seem to have that severe aspect to what's going on. We have some high winds, but not the, not the super. And we have some little hail, but not the big hail. But we're really needing to dry out.
Yeah.
We're wanting to be able to get to a place where we can actually build roofs for 5 or 6 days in a row and not have to worry about covering up and dodging storms and things. We haven't been able to do that yet this year. There hasn't. I'm not sure there's been a week since March where I could have built a roof every single day in a week. I'm not sure we've had that, and we certainly haven't had it in the last month or so. We won't have it next week. We probably will not build a roof next week. We built a couple roofs last week, but again, when you have short days with the 40% or higher thunderstorm chances in the evenings or afternoons, you have to do small roofs. You can't do a big roof. You can't do a big roof that you know is going to carry over into the next day, or you're not going to get done with it. So
or even big repairs. And we've got plenty of those too.
We are really getting backed up, and I'm sure that every reputable contractor is getting backed up. That means there's going to be significant pressure on distribution. I know that distribution has told me that, hey, you've got to get every order in that you've got that you can see for the next 90 days. We need to actually start putting dates down on calendars and things because we're not going to have enough trucks to be able to run all the material to get it where everybody wants it when they want it. So there are going to be some logistical issues for contractors this fall because everybody is so backed up. So,
wow.
Yep.
Hey, our trivia question is still hanging out there.
It's hanging.
So in the course of assessing property for potential storm impact, a professional inspector or adjuster inspects a roof covering material for other non-storm related conditions. So how many of these conditions does your standard issue McRoof solution specialist look for on your property? Is it 10, 15, we know it's not 18, or 22? 405-608-4377, 405-608-4377. There is a prize if you are the winning caller.
So, Rick, I want to talk a little bit about Roof RX.
We have 1 minute.
1 minute? Okay, well, I can't do it in a minute. Scotty, you talk for a minute.
Well, to follow up on after the storm tips, guttering. I've seen a lot of guttering failures in the last week.
Really?
Actually, in the last month, I've seen so many gutter failures. Gutters backing up, gutters collecting water in the middle because they're not sloped to the proper in the proper direction to the nearest downspout. Downspouts that are completely clogged, or French drains that are completely clogged. Remember, everything on top of your roof and your exterior, it's a system. And drainage, your roof, works with your guttering system. Check your gutters, check your downspouts, and check your French drains to make sure that they're unobstructed and that they properly drain to where they are intended to, so that that does not cause an issue
Backing
in
up.
your roofing assembly.
Backing up into your roof. Yeah.
And with that, we'll take our final break. We'll be back after this important announcement. You're listening to McRoof Fortifies Oklahoma on Freedom 96.9 and freedom969.com. We're also live streaming on our McRoof Fortifies Oklahoma YouTube channel. So stay with us. We'll be back in a flash. Homer Stacy was a wholesome, good American kid from Texas. At the age of 18, he enlisted in the United States Army Horse Cavalry and was stationed at Fort Bliss. Homer was fascinated with aircraft, so he went to flight school and became an Army Air Corps pilot. Homer Stacy flew a Convair B-24 Liberator, the Yankee Doodle Dandy, on November 11, 1943, when his crew, along with 31 other bombers, destroyed a ball-bearing plant in occupied France. On a return trip, a mechanical failure caused the Yankee Doodle Dandy to drop out of formation, leaving it vulnerable, and shortly thereafter, 7 German Me-109s shot down the plane near Andano, Italy. 4 crew members were killed on board, the others parachuted. 1 was captured and taken prisoner. Homer was among the remaining 5 who made it to Switzerland and returned to duty. Homer Stacy survived World War II, the Korean War, and retired after 23 years of service with many awards and commendations, including the Distinguished Flying Cross, the Purple Heart, and multiple air medals. Homer Stacy McCollum, Scott McCollum's dad. Scott McCollum is McRoof. McRoof.us is owned and operated by the McCollum family, an honorable, trustworthy red, white, and blue family. If you want to fortify your property, call McRoof.us at 405-877-4663. Ask for your complimentary roof inspection performed by a credentialed Hague residential inspector. McRoof.us, saving lives and protecting property by fortifying Oklahoma, one roof at a time. McRoof Fortifies Oklahoma back on the air for the final segment of this morning's live show on freedom969.com. On this date in 1933, Congress passed the first minimum wage law, and that minimum wage was 33 cents an hour.
That's about what I worked for.
I've worked for not much more than that. On this date in 1954, President Eisenhower put forward a plan for an interstate highway system.
We need a new one.
And then 3 years later, on this same date, President Eisenhower became the first president to fly in a helicopter.
Wow.
Wow. So
interesting.
That's pretty cool.
There we go.
Hey, I want to talk about Roof RX.
Roof RX.
I've got to go back to last weekend. I get a text message from a listener. And man, he's kind of ripping me a little bit. And Mike, if you're out there listening, good morning to you, buddy. Call me anytime. Anyway, he thinks I've lost my mind, that I'm going to cost Oklahoma citizens thousands of dollars and cause all kinds of problems. And we're talking about the fact that we're going to have to inspect, repair, and maintain our roofs. He thought that was way beyond the pale. And we had a little conversation about it.
By golly, he has a right to let his roof deteriorate.
I tell you what.
That's right.
And he has a right to call me and tell me anything he wants to say about what I say on the radio, too. Every one of you does. So
That's right.
He and I had a conversation. I gave him a little context of what we see going on. and the tools that we have to actually put folks in a position, agents, brokers, and consumers in a position to be able to stand up for themselves, or agents and brokers to advocate for their clients. Okay, and I have a situation that last week I've got an agent friend who had a cancellation from one of our favorite insurance carriers, midterm cancellation on a roof because they had flown a crappy drone with a crappy camera, with an untrained pilot, with a no prescriptive flight protocols or elevations or shot sheet or anything else. Just most of these networks that do these inspections, any pilot in America with a drone can go fly for them. All right, that is not how Roof RX and Blue Falcon Aerial, that's not how we roll, or that's not how we fly. We have a certain drone that is required. We have a certain camera that is required. We have drone university that we run these guys through flight school and qualify them and make sure that they know this is what we want you to do. This is the elevations you fly. This is how you go around the roof. These are the particular things we want to see. All of that is prescriptive. Then once we have pristine images, and I'm going to tell you, we've shown these images to public adjusters, we've shown them to property managers, we've shown them to insurance companies, we've shown them to agents and brokers, we've shown them to consumers. Everyone says, we have never seen images like that before in our life.
Wow.
Because that's not what everybody does, okay? We take the images that our qualified pilot and our prescriptive drone and camera provide to us, and then we go in and we draw little boxes around what we see in those images. And not only do we draw little boxes, and we don't put hail or mechanical or nail or whatever. We put little boxes, and I put text in those boxes. I put text in those boxes because we're trying to educate insurance underwriters, loss prevention people, agents, brokers, and consumers about why is that image boxed? Why is it annotated? What does that mean to us? All right. So we're using this. Not only are we doing the annotation, and the annotations are done by qualified, credentialed people who understand what a rooftop actually looks like and what all of these things mean. What's important, what is significant, what is a real problem, what is an urgent problem, what is a pending or future problem. And we do all of that in our reporting. So this lady had been told that this insurance company is canceling her. We go out, we fly the drone, we review the images, we annotate the images. I write a conclusion that says that this roof is in good condition, not excellent. This roof is in good condition, but in need of minor repairs. I write the scope of the repairs. I write the estimate for the repairs. I write an expected life expectancy of this roof. I have a notation that there is no evidence of hail on this roof, in the surface of the shingles, or in any of the metals on or around the roof, including the gutters, the metal valleys, and everything else. And within 12 hours of us giving that report to the agent who shared it with her client, sent it to our favorite insurance company, they had agreed, we want the repairs done within 30 days, and they will continue the risk.
Nice.
So, Mike,
Very nice.
I want you to understand that I'm not just pie in the sky and making this stuff up. I'm telling you that people have issues, that they're getting letters that they have to do repairs that are not necessary. They're going to be canceled. They're going to be non-renewed. They're going to this, that, the other. They need to replace their roof. It's being done from poorly done images and poorly trained AI, and underwriters don't know enough to be able to know what's real and what's not real. That's how Roof RX is changing the game.
Okay.
So,
all right. Hey, since I have a moment here, let me remind everybody that S&CM LLC, doing business as McRoof.us, legally operates under Oklahoma registration number 8000002, and that the registration applies to both residential and commercial roofing.
now are you going to share with me which congressman's letter that was in? Because I want to take that up with them. I think that's too much.
Okay, I'll do that.
Do it off the air.
Last call for the trivia question. How many of the conditions does your standard issue McRoof Solution Specialist look for non-storm related damage to your roof? Is it 10, 15, or 22? If you think you know the answer, give us a call right now at 405-608-4377. 405-608-4377. 10, 15, or 22.
I can't wait until Scotty tells me the answer to that. So let's talk about Fortified a little bit, guys.
We're getting a call.
Oh, we're getting a
So
call.
hurry up.
Okay, let's jump on there.
Well,
okay.
While Randy's taking down the name,
I was about to start on the list just to give people some ideas.
Go right ahead.
Different conditions. But it sounds like he's okay. We're about to have.
it looks like Tamala.
Okay. Cool.
Okay, Randy, take Tamala and put her on the air. Tamala, are you there?
I'm here.
All
Hi,
right,
dear. How
So
are you
what-
this morning?
Oh, great. Just scrambling some eggs.
What's the
make some for me. I'll be there in 15.
what's the number we're looking for? 10, 15, or 22?
I'm going to guess 22.
Oh, boy. That was a really good guess, Tamala. But
Okay,
and
well.
you're close, but not quite there.
So
Hey, I wanted to tell you guys, McRoof replaced my roof in January. They did an outstanding job, and they're the best roofers I've ever had. They're great people.
Thank you so
my
much
gosh.
for saying
Thank
that,
you,
Tamala.
Tamala. We appreciate
Thank you,
so
Tamala.
much. Thanks for playing.
Have a good weekend.
You too.
Okay, Scotty, what is that magic number and what are those conditions?
The magic number is 15, Rick. That is B.
Okay. Well, you know what? I think, and I can understand why people would have said 18 or 22 because they expect more from McRoof.
Exactly.
So
right.
I think
That's
I might
right.
be sitting down with Scotty and his team, and we might be trying to figure out how we can add to that next
So, Scotty,
week.
we have a minute left. Run down that. Don't explain. Just
Yeah.
run down the list.
Quickly.
Hail impact, wind impact, mechanical marring, footfall, asphalt transfer, blistering, thermal cracking, tree damage, wood rot and/or deterioration, nail pops, framing deficiencies, workmanship deficiencies, rodent infiltration, manufacturer's defects suspected, ventilation, roof appurtenances, and debris accumulation. And the
Wow.
first two were not included in this count, of course, because they're the storm-related impacts.
Storm-related. Right. Right. Gotcha.
Ventilation.
So
we don't have time.
17 is the current running
Yeah,
average.
We don't have time to get into ventilation.
Well,
right
I
now.
just want to say I was driving by some apartments the other day, and I saw both Ridge Vent and the 750s.
Let me give you a good one. Brand apartment complex, brand new roof, probably 250, 300,000 on that little small complex. Zero ventilation, and I guarantee you those are not spray foam roof decks. Zero ventilation. I want to find out who the owner is, and I want to write him a letter about his $250,000 investment. Just unbelievable to me.
That's just too much. Okay.
So I'll be training inspectors in Oklahoma City and Tulsa next week. Believe me, we will be talking about ventilation.
I'll bet you will.
Yes, we will.
I'll bet you will. Okay, so we are wrapping up here. The outro music is about to hit. There it is. Right there. So let's give us some dad's wisdom. Scotty?
To become wise, one must first be ignorant.
To be wise.
Rudyard Kipling. Ignorant.
To be wise, one must first be ignorant.
Rudyard Kipling.
Yeah. That's very good. You've been listening to McRoof Fortifies Oklahoma.
Is that an ignoramus?
On freedom969.com. My thanks to Retro Radio Randy for doing a good job even though he's still on probation.
Thanks to our callers today.
Yes, thank you, callers, Nick and Tamala. Thank you, Scotty. Thank you, Scott. We'll be back next week with another edition of McRoof Fortifies, Oklahoma.
Have a great week, everybody. Stay safe.